In this video, we're going to make a multi-shot. Alright, so we're in the top-down project in Unreal Engine 5.3. And to get started, what we're going to go ahead and do is create the projectile class. So let's go to Blueprint class, Actor, and we're going to call it BP projectile. Let's go into BP projectile. Let's put in a static mesh. I'm going to search for a cylinder. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, and I'm going to make it smaller. Now we need to add a projectile movement component. And I'm going to set the speed to 2000. Compile and save. Next, let's step into the top-down character. Let's go to Mesh over here. Double-click on the skeletal mesh asset, and then click on the root. What we need to be doing right now, or what we're going to be doing right now, is creating the socket from which the projectiles are going to spawn. So let's click on the root, right-click, add socket. You can name the socket whatever you like. I'm going to call it fire socket. And next we need to set the position of the fire socket because we don't want the projectiles to be spawning at his feet. We want them a little bit forward and maybe at his chest. So I think right there looks good. Save, exit out. Now let's go ahead and alright, so next I'm going to create a debug key. I'm going to use debug key 1. I'm going to drag off and grab a for loop, not a for each loop, just a for loop. And this first index we need to set to 1. This last index, let's drag off and promote to variable. And I'm going to call this projectile count. This number right here is the number of projectiles that will spawn, and I'm going to set it to 5. Next, we need to let's go ahead and we'll just go ahead and create the spawn actor from class. Now it's not going to compile because we haven't figured out the transforms yet, but we can go ahead and plug in the BP projectile. Next, let's go down here and let's get our actor rotation. Let's break the rotator. And then we'll also make a rotator. We're going to plug in the roll and the pitch directly, but with the yaw, we need to add an offset. So we're going to promote this to a variable, or we're drag off and promote to variable. And we're going to call it rotation offset. And we'll plug that in right there. And the value that we'll use, or the number that we'll use, is -29. Next, let's drag off this right here, and we will create a combine rotators. And then from the combine rotators, let's multiply. And let's split this right here. And with this index, let's drag off the index and we'll put it in this bottom pin right here. Now the pitch and the roll we're going to leave 0, but this yaw we need to promote to a variable, and we're going to call this the spread. So this is the distance that the projectiles, the distance from each other. After that, let's go ahead and let's go back to this spawn actor from class. Let's split the struct pin and we will drag in the rotation. As for the location, let's grab our mesh. Let's do a get socket location, and we're going to use that socket that we created, the fire socket. I'm going to spell it right. There we go. And let's put that in the location there. And everything looks right. I think, no, it's not. We need to, the spread needs a value, and we're going to make that 10. Okay. Now I think everything looks good. All right, let's test it out. There you go, multi-shot. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind is that these numbers are, they're very sensitive. And what I mean by that is if you change the projectile count to say 3, it's going to break the rest of the numbers. So see how it kind of shoots off to the side now? So if you want a different number of projectiles, you're going to need to go into the rotation offset, and you're going to have to play with that to basically straighten it out. So let's try 15 and see what that does. Okay, that kind of straightened it out a little bit. 20 might give us a better value, or might be a better value. Let's see. Yeah, that's better. So just remember, if you change this, you have to change this as well. And that's it. Thank you.